All right. So, thanks for taking the time to talk with us, obviously. It's quite a big thing.
No problem.
Do you want to introduce
Happy
yourself? Name, where you're from?
Yeah, I'm Noah Curran from Brighton, art student,
Yeah. What you're studying?
comic and concept art
Yeah. What's that
in my
like?
first year. Uh, it's really cool.
Yeah.
It's very like technical. Really gets into the sort of like discipline of it, and it's obviously quite niche, but something I've like sort of been into from a young age. Yeah, my dad's like a big comics nerd, and like I've just always like drawn, and like I like not so much into like the fine art stuff, but just yeah, been drawing for sort of as long as I can remember. So I like just drawing like characters, people mostly, but sort of just like random stuff from my imagination, or like stuff from films. Quite like just drawing like stills from movies, stuff like that.
How, before you started the medication, then, did the ADHD affect you? Like, how did that manifest?
Um, it's kind of like a lack of energy and like impulse control as well. Like, yeah, not being able to like sit still and like focus and managing time, all that sort of stuff, and sort of just the problem with like mood and yeah, just sort of like not not the best behavior, I guess. But yeah, I didn't really know that it was ADHD. I didn't really know what that was necessarily, because I always kind of thought that you know, you'd hear it thrown around, and it was always like attached to kids that were like far more worse behaved than me, like you know the kids that are getting kicked out of school and stuff like that. But yeah, kind of just manifested in um, just succumbing to sort of like acting without thinking, stuff like that.
Impulsivity.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did that like affect you? Did that make things harder as a kid?
Um, no, I mean as a kid it was just all like it kind of was just part of being a kid, I suppose. But definitely maybe like just more hyperactive and distracting in class and sort of you know starting fights and stuff and you know like getting a bit rowdy, but only became more of a problem sort of like secondary school age,
How so?
where just where you just got to sit still for an hour or however long, and just being hard without really knowing why, like knowing that there's a difference between you and the other people, um, as to why it's just so hard to you know knuckle down and do the task in front of you. Um, and yeah, getting a lot of grief from the teachers for that.
Did they not understand? Did they not make any sort of like accommodations?
No, because I mean, at that point, I hadn't had a diagnosis, and it's just their job to sort of you know keep you, well, yeah, keep the class in check for that long, and yeah, they're not really thinking on that level. I suppose it's just thinking of you as being a distraction, and messages like you know what the teachers have said that day, or oh you've been distracting someone, or you've been late, you haven't submitted this. But I mean they probably, it's kind of a thing where like hindsight is 2020, because I mean they don't really, neither of my parents really knew what ADHD exactly was until they kind of had to find out. But Yeah, I think it's just because I mean everyone's their own individual, but it probably was signs of just with me being particularly moody as a kid and like yeah, just running riot a little bit.
Did you kind of swap between moods quickly, generally in a bad mood?
Yeah, definitely like one extreme or the other. I think I was yeah, not the most affectionate kid, but like I was quite late to sort of, you know, like hug my parents or I'd pick and choose when I did. Like uh not to say that like I don't know, that was that different, but it was yeah, either sort of like duck face they'd call it, like that stuff that's what they would call me because I was always just like stern and like
Yeah.
looking a bit cross. Or just yeah, quite hyperactive and yeah, extremely energetic and a bit neurotic, I guess. Well, I mean, I had said things to my parents before, like I think I might have this, and I mean, I was kind of like dismissed. Like, I mean, my dad said like, well, you know, don't like go telling your mum this now. Like, we'll, you know, talk about it first. But um, yeah, then we like, you know, got on the waiting list to get a diagnosis, and yeah, and it was just like getting put on medication, which definitely helped through A levels.
What medication are you on, and like what dosage, if that's all right?
It's called Elvans, so it's lisdexamphetamine. Just kind of like you kind of got that, and then Ritalin. And the one I'm on is it's more effective, I think, but it's got a bit more sort of side effects. You can get loss of appetite, trouble sleeping, because sometimes you got a sort of ticker, and it just doesn't go off sometimes, so it can kind of keep you up. And I mean, you can just become dependent on it.
Have you become dependent on it?
Yeah, definitely. Which is not something I like to admit, but it's just so easy to just take a pill in the morning and you know you're set, because otherwise it's like it's a cumulative sort of. I mean, it's a come down. It's not maybe the right word, but just a low, like just lacking energy, motivation. Just feels like you can't do anything. So it's always just going to be easier to just take the quick solution. And dosage wise, I'm on 60 milligrams tablets, which is like 10 milligrams away from like the highest dose
Right.
you can get.
Is there anything else that you use to try and help, you know, bring some energy into your day, give yourself some motivation?
I mean, coffee in the morning, but to be fair, with ADHD, it's not. You don't quite get the same reaction. I think it's more. I mean, it's kind of the same with the medication, I guess. If someone was without ADHD was to take it, they would obviously show this like they'd be very outwardly like energetic, and you know they'd show it on their face. It'd be like they'd be kind of overstimulated. They'd be having too much dopamine or whatever. So it's like if you drink a like strong coffee, you might be like bouncing off the walls. Whereas with me, it's kind of more like it mellows you out. It's kind of like calming. All my friends, yeah, they all know about my ADHD, my medication, and everything like that. But sometimes I think it's hard for them to understand because when I'm like in the day when I'm on my meds and, I'm at ease, sort of like pretty normal, and there's nothing too hard to understand because I'm acting normally, but sometimes my battery can just sort of run out, and if I'm just not feeling up to something, if it's something we're going out in the evening, something like that, and I'm sort of crashing, or like I'm sort of burnt out, they kind of just think I'm being boring. Like come on, perk up, cheer up, like.
Not as simple as that.
Yeah, and it's like if I could, I would, but and I hate it because I'm not that pleasant to be around either, and I do know that.
Speaking about, routine and regimen, on the NHS website, they talk about regimenting your day and giving yourself a routine to stick to. Have you ever considered that? Do you think that might help?
Yeah, I mean, I think, there's something that this discipline and stuff that I definitely would take out of a solid routine. But I mean, I did this boxing match. It's like charity boxing match. Just like the weekend just passed, and for that, I was going to the gym pretty much every day, and we had like training twice a week, and that was kind of the best I've felt for a while, like the best shape I've been in, and just having the structure and routine of that, and the physical sort of like benefits, well, and the mental benefits obviously, but having like something like that to work towards, definitely I saw like a good change from that structure and routine.
You talked a bit earlier about the diagnosis, and I've heard from other people with ADHD and online that can be a really hard process with the NHS. Did it take a while with you, or was there any kind of like rigorous testing or anything?
It did actually, because in the end we didn't go through the NHS, we went private, which was obviously a lot of money, but like got it a lot quicker because did want to get it done before, like for A levels and stuff. It was pretty speedy when you're doing it privately, but through the NHS would have just probably been a longer waiting list, because especially like that sort of age as well, there's like so many kids that are trying to wait for a diagnosis. But I mean, it was just involved like gathering some like feedback, well, like information from teachers, and then like family as well, and then it was just like a sort of conversation talking about like childhood and school, stuff like that, and then that was that.
How did you react to the news of the diagnosis?
I mean, I was relieved because like parents had shelled out all this money for a private diagnosis, so I was kind of just like happy it wasn't all for nothing. And then my mum was obviously just like, well, she was just very dramatic about it. She was like, "Oh my God, how did I not know?" Like, but it was nice to know. It was kind of like affirming, like because there was a lot of doubt in my mind before, like, am I sure that I have it? It was nice to know.
And what kind of, did you come up with a plan after the diagnosis of, you want to go straight into medication? Because I know sometimes some, practices, they suggest like cognitive behavioural therapy. Was that one thing that you considered?
I did a little bit of that, of the therapy. But again, we had to pay for that out of pocket, so and I didn't really get much out of it, to be honest. But did go straight onto medication. Like, started you off with like small dosage, and then it's called like the titration period, where they're like taking your blood pressure and weight and stuff, and then, you know, upping it every couple of weeks or so, and then, yeah, until I got onto the dose I am now. I mean, I remember the first day I was on it at college really well. And it was, I mean, it was pretty cool, to be fair. It was like very new. And I had all this energy out of nowhere. And I did notice that I wasn't speaking out of turn so much in class and being a nuisance. Like I was a lot more contained. And I was just like scribbling like all these words that rhyme together on like my textbook, just because I was like in a philosophy class, and the teacher was like, he always goes to the slides so slowly. So I was like making notes about what you're saying, and then I just had all this energy that like I wanted to put into something, like do something. So I was doodling or whatever, but not like, I wasn't sort of expressing it outwardly as much, more just keeping it in, which was different, but it was, yeah, it's probably it's a lot different than how it feels now, because it was obviously a very new thing, and I wasn't used to it. And the energy side of it is more, I think, what drives that sort of urge, is like feeling this need for something to sort of fuel you on a night out. And I think part of a symptom of ADHD is sort of like a lack of foresight, or a lack of like just acting without thinking about the consequences. So whether that's like getting some coke or something, just for a night, it's not even like it's an occasion. It's just a way to sort of get some energy back. I mean, it's sort of like just medicating yourself for something that should be leisurely. Like it should be something you want to do, not like a thing that you feel like you should be forced to do. But at the end of the day, it's just I think it's just a case of just not surrounding yourself with the temptations, and just recognizing it before it could happen. And I think, yeah, it's been a bit of like a learning curve in that way, like just to resist certain temptations and stuff. I think there's something inherent to the medication that you kind of associate energy with drugs, kind of. And relying on taking something to sort of just, yeah, give you that energy and sort of give you that liveliness.
And going back to the medication for a moment, do you get that off the NHS?
I had a medication monitoring appointment, which meant that I had to have that appointment before I could get any more. And I had to sort of like say it's an emergency. Like I can't wait however many days for this appointment because I'm out now. But I managed to get it sped along, but it's just, there's not much they offer you it's not taken very seriously as something that you need, which I do find annoying. It does kind of get to you when it's, I don't know, it's so easy to prescribe you it and to put you on a strong dosage of this and then take a back seat. And it's not like they're there when you run out, or they're not really thinking about you living with it, or like it's just kind of sets you on a path from there, and you don't really get much in the ways of like information or like, I don't know, warnings, or or even just like information about what it's like, or anything like that.
Do you think there needs to be more active support?
Yeah, definitely. And
Follow-ups.
yeah, and more just face-to-face talking about it, like, because it's just so clinical the way it's done, which obviously, I mean, it obviously will be, but it's more than just a chemical that I'm taking. It's affecting my mental state, and it's I don't know. It's like there's not much psychiatric sort of treatment towards it. It's just the medication. It's like, keep taking this. There's not much in the ways of just like just checking in, talking about it, like. But I guess the NHS being what it is, it's hasn't got the funding to just have someone to talk to all the time.
Yeah.
Just check in. But
Still needs to be acknowledged, though.
yeah, definitely. And I think at this age as well, like, you're quite vulnerable, and it's you can't just it shouldn't just be the way that you just prescribe something as a solution. But I guess I'm not out of the blame for that either, because it's been a conscious decision of mine to take it, not really thinking about what that means for the future. But
Is there anything else that you kind of want to say towards the end of the interview? You can take a moment to think if you need.
I suppose just that I do wonder where I'd be at now without medication as well, because it's not like it was sort of destined to happen. Like, it could have easily been the case that I didn't. Maybe if I sort of grew up somewhere else and it wasn't acknowledged as much, I'd have made it to here without ever having thought, without it ever having been a thought, and be fine. Because, I mean, people have lived lives like in the past, not even with ADHD or medication not even being talked about or anything, and they would have just lived their life just the same. I don't know, maybe they wouldn't have had access to certain avenues, or maybe won't have made it as far in education or stuff like that. But it's not to say that, and this could still be fine just being maybe a bit more yourself and a bit more natural. But at the end of the day, like, it does help me, and I'd like to sort of, I'd like to get off it at some point, or decrease the dosage or whatever. But for now, yeah, I'm just letting it do its thing.